who is the final six here. We got a lot of guys.
I already know who I'm starting off with. Orton.
Is Orton unanimous, Brian?
Yeah, well, yeah, Orton should be unanimous. I mean, this is Randy Orton we're talking about here. What's 14-time world champion? I mean, even if you even go back,
legend killer.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to just say that, Lewis. That legend killer gimmick. It's a favorite of my brothers. It's a favorite of mine. I mean, all the guys he beat, the match he had with Mick Foley at Backlash, that hardcore match. And then when he became the Viper, so smooth, one of the smoothest finishers in WWE history. The fact that you came from everywhere.
Youngest world heavyweight champion beat Chris Benoit at 2004 SummerSlam in Canada.
In Canada, exactly.
I have to put that
there. Even though he's still
it was a great match.
Had arguably the greatest counter of all time at WrestleMania 21 against The Undertaker when he turned the chokeslam into the RKO.
Oh, is that better than the Seth one at WrestleMania 30?
Yeah,
that Seth one is crazy, bro. I love that one.
He did one to Evan Bourne when Evan Bourne did the 450 did the shooting star. He did one to Chad Gable when Chad Gable did a moonsault and he called him at the tail end, which was crazy.
You're saying, right? Like when you think about I think it's unanimous that Randy Orton's in, right? Like Randy Orton, when you think of unanimous in terms of what he's been able to reinvent himself in various ways and been this predator. He's been a good guy. Like he's been able to be in a tag team. We see him even like he's able to transcend eras, right? Like he was able to be in a tag team with Edge.
He was in the Wyatt family.
He was in the Wyatt family for a second, right? Like you think about him with Riddle, like of course getting Riddle over and stuff like that. That pairing actually worked. Like Randy Orton wasn't that boring heel that we thought at certain points in times where it's like, oh, he's stale. Oh, he's going to do this thing again. Like Randy Orton's been around for a long time, and hopefully he gets healthy, of course, again, especially with that back injury. Hopefully he's able to get back in some type of capacity. But yeah, when you think about Randy Orton, where he came from, a third-generation superstar, long list of accomplishments, 14-time champion, and still going. Obviously, he gets in there. Who else do you guys think of? We got I think Triple H has to be in there.
Yeah. Come on.
Think about his.
Yeah, Louis, do you not want to add Triple H just from a fan perspective because you just
it's a fan perspective. I wholeheartedly respect Triple H, the game, everything he's done. It's more of a favorite. Like I always fucking loved the pedigree. I thought that was a crazy fucking finisher, but he was never my choice to like. Oh, I'm rooting for Triple H. It was never.
But that's what makes it great. But that's what makes it great. I know.
He was such a fucking heel for so long. But you know what's crazy is that Randy was always a heel too, but there were a lot of times I rooted for Randy. I never really had that for Triple H. As much as I did like DX and the fucking his intro, the fucking everything was sick, but I was never there wasn't somebody that he was facing that I was like, oh, I want Triple H to win,
But that's what makes him great.
I know. So of course he has to go in there. He has to go in there.
Because here's the thing. I know people say, oh, he married the boss's daughter. That's why he's got everything. That's why he had all those titles.
No, he was still good though.
People need to remember. You guys remember the curtain call and how he got punished. How he got punished for it. At one point in time, they didn't want Triple H, so he had to earn all of that. So I say, even without Mary and Stephanie McMahon as a heel, he still is one of the best heels of all time.
Yeah,
man, was he booked a little too strong for us as fans when we were kids?
Yes,
definitely. But as a heel, yeah, he did make people better as a character. And when he eventually got beat, every single time, those were big moments. Like I'll never forget when Shawn Michaels beat him in the chamber. Like that was crazy. With Jim Ross's commentary and the confetti coming down, like that, like. Triple H getting beat means something. Yeah, still means something.
The part to me that's underrated about him in terms of, even though he buried a lot of people, he did get a lot of people over. Batista, Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels. Like even when Shawn Michaels came back, like he got a lot of people over. The feuds with The Rock, the feud with Austin, Undertaker. Like you think about all these feuds that he's done. And when I'm looking back at Triple H, I think about his first run when he run full heel as a champion and stuff like that. Like his promo work in terms of like, even though it was drawn out and stuff like that, he made you feel like that belt meant everything. When he talked about this belt means more to me than anything in life and stuff like that, as his first reign and stuff like that, when he was Triple H and he had like the chain shit on him, like when you go back and watch his stuff, it's like, yo, this guy, like it meant everything. Like as a kid, it was like, yo, this guy is crazy. It meant everything. And then you think about his title reigns and stuff like that. You think about even like his little resurgence there. When he went to SmackDown, he was fighting Jeff Hardy. He was fighting all these other guys, kind of getting these other guys over and stuff like that. And it's just like the trajectory of his career and stuff like that. And it's just like, yo, he's been on top for a long time. Like he's been on top. He was that guy. We think about the strong booking from his family and stuff like that, but he definitely deserves to be in there.
Fucking Evolution was fucking crazy. Everything that came out of that, literally Ric Flair's resurgence. You fucking created Batista, uplifted Randy, and I don't know about you guys, but I was always fucking spitting water after I took a shower, just like stop.
Wasting your parents' water bill practicing.
Hell yeah, I ain't paying for that shit. Blame Triple H.
Countries out here struggling to get water, and you out spitting in the
air. Hey, Triple H taught me well, I guess.
Such a great role model, Triple H.
And it's funny funny that he still, even after from Hunter Hearst Helmsley, still kept the Triple H.
He's never had like a name change or anything like that. Yeah,
It'll always be Triple H.
And his name is Paul Levesque. Paul Levesque. Papa H. H. We still messing.
The game.
The game.
Let's keep moving down a little. Like he's been able to transition that as well too. So obviously, I believe he gets in there as well. Another guy who's not on my list. Oh, is he on my list? Yeah, he is on my list. Begrudgingly, he's not on Lewis's list.
All right. See, this is where I get mad. All right, Lewis, what? How could you put Brock Lesnar on your list but not put Hulk Hogan?
I'd rather Brock Lesnar
because
I will put Brock Lesnar 10 times over.
We're talking about Hulk Hogan. The reason why we talk about wrestling as sports entertainment, and the reason why we have this show and why we talk about wrestling is because of Hulk Hogan. He started this in the 80s. He's the original superstar.
No, Bruno did. Bruno started it.
Before when they went mainstream, and when Vince decided to go national, and then they went mainstream with the teaming with MTV and such, Hulk Hogan was the face of that. And then
this man had 3 moves. 3.
That's all he needed to be a superstar back in those days. He had the character, he had the gimmick of the All-American.
Overhand punch, the back rake, the slam, the boot,
the leg. What finisher is a standing leg drop? A standing leg drop defeated so many people, and it was so believable.
It was the 80s.
At least Macho Man Randy Savage jumped off the top rope and gave him the most impactful elbow drop ever. You're telling me this man did a standing leg drop and won the title every time? Get the fuck out of here.
He's 6'9" and 300 pounds.
Wow. Wow, so high up in the air.
I mean,
his leg only goes so high.
Okay. Just to speak about Hulk Hogan, I'm not the biggest fan of Hulk Hogan.
No, I'm not.
I was not the biggest fan of Hulk Hogan. Was not at all. I think the NWO thing is overrated. I think he bled WCW dry. I think the resurgence of him,
slick 8 o'clock shadow bullshit that he did. My lord.
I believe he was overrated. Like looking back now, when you look at how he entered WCW, beating Ric Flair and stuff like that, I was pissed at that. Looking back at it, you think about his WWF run, how he was always just given the opportunity because he was the guy. WrestleMania 9, even though that's one of the worst WrestleManias, he added to that, being a champion again and stuff like that on his way out. But it's just like, You can't ignore what he did. Like,
it was only,
as much as
because they only did it because it added value for the European tour afterwards. Even though the fucking European tour was already sold out, so they didn't need to do this.
They didn't need to do it, but it's just like when you think about Hulk Hogan, you think about his legendary reign, you think about basically Hulkamania. Like you think about that, even in the early 2000s when it was supposed to be did, when he came back to challenge Triple H during the Undisputed Era, that when that championship came out, Hulk Hogan won that title. Like he carried that for a little bit. Like everyone was happy to see Hulk Hogan. Of course, he had creative control and stuff like that, and all that crap. But it's just like when you think about Hulk Hogan, you can't think about the business without thinking about him first. And he did make no holds barred. He did make no holds barred. So I think begrudgingly, I believe Hulk Hogan gets the nod here.
No, I disagree. compared to the other people on the list, okay, I get it. His time, his era, but just like thinking Flair was in the same era. Mm-hmm. Do you put them both on the same level?
Well, see, Flair didn't. Flair was on top in a territory. Remember, this was old school WCW. And they were more known down south. While Hulk Hogan was known more nationally, everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I think that played a role into it. Obviously, because where Ric Flair was, it really was just like good old fashioned old school wrestling. And obviously, what Vince McMahon was trying to do with WWE was trying to make it more sports entertainment friendly. So it was two different philosophies of TV. That's why when Flair initially came to WWF, it didn't really work because he was a wrestler, still trying to be the wrestler with the gimmick in WWE's world. So I think that in that case, even though they were both in the same era, I mean.
Let me interject. I love Ric Flair. Love him. Like, especially being black. Like, everybody, like, when we talk about wrestlers and stuff like that, we all imitated the woo! We all did that. We all did the strut. We all did all that stuff, and all that stuff. That's great. There's a reason why WCW went after Hulk Hogan. There's a reason. When you think about Ric Flair at that time, they were like, he was old and he was going to be on his way out eventually. They went after Hulk Hogan for a reason. Like, those guys are nearly the same age. Like, both those guys are old. And they went with Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan in WWF, there's a reason why he was able to do that and go so long and even come back multiple times to WWE and do that. Like, there's a reason. As much as we don't like Hulk Hogan, as much as we don't like him, what he's mean to the business, it's like, you can't ignore that. And
he should not be allowed to call anybody brother.
It's just
like 82. For obvious reasons.
Again, I'm not the biggest Hulk Hogan fan by no metric. But to have a greatest of all time list without him,
I guess.
That's why it's good that there's three of us here, because one person is always going to be the common denominator.
I'm going to boot his ass so fast.
It's kind of ironic.
I'm just sorry. I get it. Same as Triple H. I have more respect for Triple H, but I get it. That's not my era as well. And I know during the time when he was at the height, this man was everywhere around the world. Everybody knew who Hulk Hogan was. Eat your vitamins, blah, 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 blah. But it's just like... but you know what's crazy? It's crazy. It's crazy to think that I fucking love Ric Flair more, fucking Randy Savage more. I'm not even a big Bret. I like Bret. Maybe I wasn't exposed to him as much. Mm-hmm. But I still know that he was a fucking amazing in-ring technician. Especially the whole thing with Shawn Michaels. But like Hogan, just he just did not do it for me. And even as big as like Andre the Giant was, which is literally like the two colossus, whatever. But I don't know, his trademark, his everything, and then the long range, which I feel he had a lot of fucking control over. It's just not me. So
so basically what Lewis is saying, where vitamins were always there. And you didn't need this balding man to tell you that. You didn't need that.
Yes. Who still has like fake blonde hair coming out of God knows where. I don't know what that is.
I heard those original strands. Those are still original.
He cryogenically froze
when the Ultimate Warrior and him were beefing, Ultimate Warrior said those were extensions. So.
Some people will call Ultimate Warrior a hater. Some people will call him a hater. But
I watched his doc, and I guess everybody hated Ultimate Warrior.
Nobody liked it.
You talking about the self-destruction one? Yeah, that one?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, they came at him hard.
Hated him.
Nobody liked him.
No.
And then
this man is
it was funny because at SummerSlam '92 when he was like, I'm gonna quit if you don't pay me a bunch of money, and then like it was right before he went out, and Vince was like, yeah, I'll pay you. And then he did the match, and he was like, nah, you're fired.
Jesus.
Like, you try to stiff me on my stage? Like, nah, you ain't doing that.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
Yeah, like, nah, that was crazy to figure out. But begrudgingly, Hulk Hogan is in the bracket.
Yeah.
Begrudgingly, Hogan is in the
bracket.
All right, we're moving down here. Okay. We got three now.
All right, can we? All right, now are we just gonna go in order of the reigns, or can we like jump around?
This is what I'm saying. We have three people that are in that I think that we kind of unanimously know that should be in, right? Like, but now we get to a point where we have guys like Edge, we have guys like Brock Lesnar, we have guys like Sting, who is a legendary, the franchise at WCW. We got AJ Styles, who is one of the best wrestlers in ring technicians of all time. We got Bret Hart, who is basically the foundation of fundamentals in professional wrestling. Bret Hart. We have Rey Mysterio, probably one of the greatest luchadors, and then we have Eddie Guerrero as well, one of the best luchadors. They're at the bottom there. So what are you guys thinking here as we have three already locked in?
So 13.
Again, why is Brock Lesnar on this list?
How are you denying Brock? The man has 11 title reigns.
Okay. Let me tell you why I deny Brock.
Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar only had a 2-year run when he was full time. When he was a full timer, and granted, he accomplished a lot in those 2 years full time. But everything that we've been seeing after when he came back, when he comes back every now and then, comes back for the big shows, Brock is an attraction now. All right. So as an attraction, I feel as though that shouldn't equate to being on the top 16 list. Now, if he had been full time, okay, then yeah, Brock Lesnar. But because he of the part-time schedule and everything that comes with it, I can't put Brock in my top 16. I just can't.
So you're telling me because he became so popular and such a big hit that literally everybody around the world wants to see him fight at Manias in Saudi Arabia, anywhere around the world, and because he's so big that he's able to get his own schedule, like Roman's doing right now, which is already in this list. You're telling me you're not going to consider him as a top greatest of all time? Look at and talk about someone being booked overpowered because he is that fucking strong.
So what Lewis is saying, I think what Lewis is saying is that he's better than Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh, we're not just talking. We're talking about
Hogan couldn't give anybody a German suplex.
I will say this about Brock Lesnar. When he first came on the scene, you knew he was on the scene. Like, you knew he was.
But that was a young Brock, though.
He was destroying. He was destroying the Hardy Boys. He was destroying Rob Van Dam. He was destroying every single person who stepped in front of him. I will give him that. As well as when he was champion, the matches with Big Show, the matches with Kurt Angle. Like, I can't ignore that. The matches at No Way Out with getting Eddie Guerrero over, getting him the title win. all that stuff with Brock Lesnar was awesome. But then he went to go play football.
And he became a UFC heavyweight champion.
And I'm sorry.
Although he got to the final cut. So that is impressive, though.
Oh, no. I'm not gonna sit there and say that he wasn't an athlete or he went to MMA. He's one of the biggest draws in UFC. He did all that. He's a big, awesome wrestler. But in terms of professional wrestling, to me, there has to be a work rate. There has to be consistency. You can't go away for 6 months and then come back and then they just give you the title and everything.
Because he's that big. He's that good. How can you say someone gets to that level because they suck?
No, I'm not saying that.
I know, but I'm saying the fact that he's like, oh, well, he came back, took a break. Because he's that good, and who is on his level? Look at all the times he had the title. Who was on his level that legitimately looked like they could actually beat Brock Lesnar? But not until more recently with Drew. How many times did Roman go against him, and nobody wanted Roman to beat him?
Oh,
no, that was more about.
They only wanted him to beat him because Brock had the title.
Can I interject here for a second? Suplex City got a little boring. There was a period there.
No one could stop it, though. No one could stop it. How you letting the man do it then?
Yeah, it got to a point where whenever you see Brock Lesnar matches, you're like, okay, now this is getting a little annoying. Okay, we know he's gonna do this to about 10 or 15 of these.
You can say the same thing about Cena. Oh, here's the 3 moves.
Okay, that's okay. But when you think about it, every superstar that's on this list has a cadence of moves before they get to their finish. I mean, if you look at everybody on this list, everybody has those cadence of moves.
I'm just saying, you can't knock Brock just because he got so big to the point that he's like, well, if I'm this big and I'm attracting so much, why do I need to be on Raw every single week?
I will say this. I will give Brock Lesnar his due. The past year and a half of Brock Lesnar has been probably the most entertaining Brock Lesnar.
Entertaining Brock.
And that's a Paul Heyman-less Brock.
Yeah, without Paul Heyman, yes.
Yeah. Like, for that to happen and for him to be that impactful, I will give him credence to that. I will give him credit for that. And you can argue he's been a main eventer all that time.
Like, I'm just saying, you can't not have him in the category because he became too big.
I can't get there.
Neither can I, man. I can't.
But y'all gonna argue me on this, but put fucking Hulk Hogan up in there?
We're talking about legacy. We're talking about history. There is no.
Okay, at this point in time, who is gonna remember more, Brock Lesnar or Hulk Hogan?
People actually right now remember Hulk Hogan more. I mean, if you say the word wrestling now to people older than us, or maybe even people within our same age range, they'll be like, "Oh, that's that thing that Hulk Hogan did, right?"
What did Hulk Hogan do?
You the poses, man. Like, and Lewis, trust me, as bad, you know how bad I feel that me and Brian, 2 black guys, are saying that Hulk Hogan should be on this list.
Lewis.
Come on, brothers.
Exactly.
Come on, brothers. Come on, brothers.
It's not an easy decision.
Shame.
And Lewis,
shame.
Lewis, hear me out. Hear me out, Lewis. You know the world we live in right now. This is white America. White America is never going to forget Hulk Hogan. All right.
So why?
White America is never going to.
Why have we not erased him from the list? Why is he not canceled?
Hold on, be careful now. WWE could be erased from the list.
Oh,
you gotta be careful. It's getting touchy, but yeah, I just can't get the like. Okay, so like, let's talk about the other guys on the list that are in the argument with Brock Lesnar. Would you put him over Edge?
Edge, I wholeheartedly feel it should be in the list.
Like, I can't. I'm sorry. Like, if I'm sitting here looking at guys, I can't put Brock Lesnar over Edge. I can't. Like, Edge has done everything in terms of
exactly, and that's why. Yeah,
no. I'm saying Edge has to. Edge is going in there.
Everything.
Yeah,
literally everything. Won every title. Won Money in the Bank. Won the first
Edge is on the list.
Yeah.
Did
Won
Edge
the
win the
Royal Rumble
Rumble?
twice. So like Edge has literally done everything. Like
Edge won the Rumble twice?
yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I should watch that one.
Yeah, it was the Rumble where they did it in the Thunderdome, and like Edge came out first, and like
he won that one?
Yeah, it was 2021. Yeah.
It wasn't his return, was it? It wasn't the one where he came back, was it?
No. It was the year before.
That was Drew.
Yeah, that was Drew. Yeah.
But wait, he can't.
No, he won the one back in the day when he fought Alberto Del Rio, didn't he? Did he?
Nah, he was defending. I think he was he was already world champ defending the title.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
But wasn't the one where he came back at the was it the Astrodome or whatever? Where did the baseball field was?
Yeah. That was 2020. That's when Drew won. Yeah.
Okay,
and then the following year, because remember, then the pandemic hit.
That's why I'm getting confused.
He had that greatest match ever with Randy Orton bullshit.
Yeah,
yeah. He got hurt in that match, and then he came back at the Rumble that following year.
What was the first one? So the first one he won was 2010.
2010, yeah, when he eliminated John Cena. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, Edge definitely.
He lost to Chris Jericho. That's what it was. He lost to Chris Jericho.
Yeah, he lost to Jericho.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Edge is definitely on that list. We know about the mid-card titles that he had early on. The tag team with Edge and Christian, one of the best tag teams. Coming out with Rated RKO with Randy Orton, doing that. Like, you just think about Edge throughout that history. Coming back now as the grizzled veteran, even though we don't like the Judgment Day storyline that was shoved down our throats multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Edge is in that conversation as one of the greatest of all time. Moving down the list here, we got Sting, the franchise of WCW, multiple title reigns there. Never was the WWF call over until late in lost to Triple H at WrestleMania, which was tough. But he went to Impact. TNA was a big star there. Was able to keep that company a little afloat. Like, the only reason why at points in time where I watched them was when they had Sting, when they had Kurt Angle. So guys like that, definitely I've always appreciated Sting. The reinvention of himself at that time in WCW, even though it was the Crow essentially, to transition with that and be that great as a franchise guy. I'm gonna go with Sting. I don't know if he makes my list in terms of there, but I don't think you can think about without him there being a foil for Ric Flair. Yeah, I just don't know if he gets in. Looking at this group of guys, I don't know if Sting gets in, as legendary as he is, still going in AEW right now. Yeah, but I just don't know if he's over these other guys here.
Yeah. See, Sting was really tough for me because I was looking at it from the standpoint of WCW. Like Daniel said, he was the franchise. He pretty much was the one guy who refused to jump over. He was then he came over. Eventually came over to WWE, and it didn't really pan out right. But Sting. But then the Impact did the run in Impact. And I'm just it's just hard because you want to respect everything that he's done elsewhere, but because he didn't do it. Oh, snap.
You got the Wolfpack Sting.
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, but it's just hard. It's just hard because it's funny when I was finishing out the list, it was between Sting and Edge for me, and so yeah, it's just that. I wish that initially when WWE bought WCW that he was one of the guys that could have came over and initially in his prime, because
we should have gotten Undertaker versus Sting. We should have gotten that.
We should have gotten him multiple times.
Multiple
times. I mean, the year after Sting lost to Triple H when WrestleMania 32 was at Dallas for the first time, that's when we should have gotten it. But instead we got Undertaker and Shane. But
we still don't know what's in the briefcase. We still don't know what's in the briefcase.
Yeah,
We still don't know.
Get the
Fuck Shane.
We still don't know what's in there. AJ Styles. I think this guy's a favorite of all of ours.
Yes.
Phenomenal forearm. The only reason why I started watching Impact was AJ Styles. Jeff Jarrett was there and AJ Styles was there. And you think about how his longevity in Impact, countless titles, countless reigns in there, questionable storylines, was able to overcome that. You always felt like he was going to be a WWF guy that came over. He went to Japan, was able to form the Bullet Club over there. Well, be a part of the Bullet Club over there. Be as talented he was as in New Japan Wrestling. Awesome bangers with Okada, I believe, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Then it finally makes the jump to WWE. Nobody knew about it. And then you finally see him premiere at the Royal Rumble. To have that type of run he's had, he's on the shelf right now, but just thinking about all the championship matches, all the entertaining things he has done and being able to be one of the best in-ring workers in the world. Does AJ Styles make your list over Brock Lesnar or Sting or any of these other guys, Bret Hart?
Okay. I just want to say in regards to AJ Styles, when he initially came in 2016, that whole year of him was the best booked year that you could ever do for somebody that came from the independents and had the track record that he had. And when you look at everything he did that year, you know, the matches with Chris Jericho, the two world title matches against Roman Reigns, the trilogy of matches he had with John Cena, which arguably that SummerSlam match is one of the best SummerSlam matches ever. And then for him finally to win the world title, which was a huge accomplishment because it really showed that, like, just because he made it elsewhere, he can still make it here if the crowd still is over for him and such. So,
yeah, that's someone who literally went everywhere and then came to the last stop and became an even bigger star than he probably was everywhere else.
The one thing I always hear about AJ Styles when he came over, the gloves. The kids love the gloves.
Like fire. Marketing was like, oh yes.
and one of the indie callovers that didn't go to NXT. He was the first person to do that.
That is true. I'm really surprised Samoa Joe ended up in NXT. I feel like they were on the very same caliber.
My only thing about that was I just felt like Samoa Joe was a little older. If he would have came in a couple years earlier, I felt like he would have been made. And Samoa Joe isn't the WWE look, right? Like when you think about it, like he's not the WWE look. He's an undersized brawler. I can see them kind of being like, yeah, we don't know how he's going to train. Well, Vince. I can see how Vince is going to be like, we don't know how he's going to translate. But, of course, Samoa Joe, anybody watching Samoa Joe in Impact, we know how badass he was. Like,
his finisher alone is fucking crazy. Muscle Buster, my God.
We know about him. We know about him. All right,
but
AJ's tough just because overall, yes, I would put him in there. But is he knocking out Edge? Hogan, yes. Triple H, Orton.
Is he over Bret Hart?
See, I was just gonna go there. Daniel. I would have AJ Styles would be my number 16 or 17. I just can't put him over 17. I just can't put him over Bret Hart or Rey Mysterio. I mean, when you talk about Bret Hart as a technician, he's a top 3 wrestler technician.
Yeah. Arguably the first technician to get that point over at a time when it was not popular.
Exactly. He had the look. It's like with the kids.
I don't want to compare the two in terms of impact, but it's like Ken Griffey Jr. in the steroid era. All these guys are pumping steroids. There's one guy that you were like, that guy's different.
Very much.
That guy's different.
Exactly. I mean, when
I think you gotta throw Bret in the list.
Exactly.
I think Bret automatically has to go in there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when WWE was trying to get away from the Hulk Hogan era or the Ultimate Warrior and everything, and they started the new generation, Bret Hart was the face of it. So, we gotta have Bret in there.
So we got one more spot. One more spot. Consideration: Lesnar, Sting,
Yes.
No,
AJ
Brock
Styles,
Lesnar.
Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero. Mhm. Got one spot left, guys.
I don't care. It
It has to be Rey Mysterio. Greatest luchador of all time. Brought Lucha Libre into the United
what
States.
about Eddie?
It sucks because I love Eddie Guerrero. I love Eddie
fucking
Guerrero.
love Eddie Guerrero.
But in
love him so
terms of
much.
luchador, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio being his size, being undersized, making it through the cruiserweight division, which was just a mosh pit of guys in WCW, of guys you didn't know who were going to get over. And to break through that barrier, even though he didn't do it in WCW, to go to WWE and them take a chance on him multiple times, tag team championships, the early SmackDown matches, his longevity, like Rey Mysterio as a kid, like I still remember him versus Chris Jericho at Bash at the Beach. Winning the cruiserweight title, like all that stuff, the Halloween Havoc match against Eddie Guerrero in '97, like he's ingrained in my childhood. Like Rey Mysterio is still wrestling,
It still moves like crazy,
and has had multiple knee surgeries. Times we thought like it would have been over. All these other things has been able to just be Rey
Big Show
Mysterio.
almost killed him.
Oh yeah, when he swung him on the stairs. Yo, that was actually funny. Like I remember me and my dad were watching that. My dad was cracking up.
My mom was so sick at that. Like that was one of the few times like we got my mom to like watch pay-per-views and shit like that. When she saw that, she was like, "Oh my god!"
Me and my dad were laughing like.
My mom couldn't, like, she could not stand that. She was disgusted. I'm like, Mom, it's wrestling. Dude, she could not handle that. But it's like, okay, so now let's just go through the list. Of Rey Mysterio is unanimous as the 16th spot. Eddie Guerrero, unfortunately, I just think he's a better. I just think Rey Mysterio. Unfortunately, Eddie's passing and all that stuff that happened kind of put a cap on his career, right? Because it looked like it was going to go another level. Reportedly, he was going to get the WWE Championship again at that time and stuff like that. It would have been interesting to see where it went because I love Eddie, but I think we all can agree like Rey Mysterio has had the longevity, has had the more staying power, and has been Rey Mysterio day one, and able to do that in WWE has been impressive, right? Does Rey Mysterio beat AJ Styles?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah, I definitely say yes.
But does he beat Sting? I might still have to say yes. I think Ray might be the last one.
Okay, yeah. So it's literally between Ray and Sting. So
whoa, Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar is not in this. No. Brock Lesnar is not in this category, bro.
Yes, he is.
No one is thinking about Brock Lesnar.
I just don't see how you can consider him in it at all. As big as he is, the man defeated Undertaker at WrestleMania, which in hindsight is the most believable thing that would ever happen. But the fact that they let it happen, whatever. But just his size, athleticism, everything is done. Yes, this probably hasn't been our favorite. And how many times we're like, why won't they take this shit off this man? But it's just like, you can't deny everything he's done. Just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just going to speak up for Rey Mysterio, the longevity. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what disqualifies Brock Lesnar for me. You have to be able to have a work rate. You have to be able to have a work rate. And
he did. He was on the cover of the best SmackDown game ever. Here Comes the Pain. That game alone made me want to play every wrestling game ever.
As marketable as Brock Lesnar is, I'm gonna have to go Rey Mysterio. He's been world champion. He was the ultimate underdog. To be a cruiserweight division champion, to be a mid-card champion, tag team champion. Brock Lesnar does not have that on his resume. He does not. He does not. I can't give Brock Lesnar is big entertainment. He's in the next tier for me. He's in the next tier for me. Like if you want
Put
to
him over Hogan. Get him out of here.
Oh, you
Get
are
him out of here. I will do anything to get rid of Hulk Hogan. Fuck. His legacy is tarnished. It's so tarnished.
I'm talking about as far as wrestling goes. Hulk Hogan is wrestling in white America.
He's not on the same caliber as Rick.
I think first of all, I think we would lose all credibility if we didn't have Hulk Hogan on this list. Regardless of
he's the one I don't want in
here.
He's the only one I don't want in there.
As I said, Lewis, as a black man in America, to have Hulk Hogan on this list.
Shame. Can't believe my ears.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it is frustrating, but you gotta respect that the history and legacy.
Okay, but see how easily we put in Randy Savage, Ric Flair, these other guys, and I'm just like, when the fact that just because of how big he was, his legacy is so tarnished, and just that alone takes it out for me.
I've said to people, Randy Savage is better than Hulk Hogan, and people have torn me apart.
Easily, the man could cut
better.
Promo 10 times better than Hogan.
He's easily better. Easily. Ric Flair to me, easily better, more entertaining, everything.
Yeah, but Hulk Hogan was the bigger draw, though, and that's all that mattered then. I'm just saying that's the reason why.
So is Lesnar. Oh, but he's an attraction.
I'm just saying. Hulk Hogan had a work rate. Hulk Hogan showed up to work, man. I'm sorry. That hurts Brock Lesnar.
He was the work. He gave himself the title.
Yeah, I understand it. And he had a chokehold on WCW, but there's only one reason. There's only one reason he was able to do that. There was only one reason he was able to do that. But it looks like we're in a unanimous decision here. It looks like Rey Mysterio is taking 16th spot in this GOAT bracket. All right, so there we go. We have our bracket. So now I want to go to the bracket, which I will try to work a little bit more on. Rey Mysterio. So we have our bracket set here. I don't even know can you guys see that on that side there?
Oh shit.
So this is how it breaks down ultimately. And this is how I didn't want to do a random. This is why
are we doing this tonight?
I didn't want to do a random draw. Oh no!
I'm glad we do this shit tonight.
I'm saying, I'm about to be like,
we'll be here all fucking night. We'll be here all fucking night. But apparently, just the way that it breaks down, in the 1 seed we have Ric Flair versus Rey Mysterio. We have Randy Savage versus Roman Reigns in the 9-8 spot. We have Steve Austin versus Triple H in the 5-12. We have The Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan in the.
You already know where that's going. Come on, just put the results.
No. I got some thoughts about that. So hold up.
Brian, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
I'm just saying.
I'm talking about legacy and tradition.
You defended Hulk a little too much for my liking. You defended him a little too much for my liking.
As we go to the other side, we got the Rock versus Edge.
You're really gonna argue the Undertaker. The Undertaker.
I mean, more than likely, I'm gonna be swinging that direction, but I'm just saying it's
worth that should be unanimous.
No, this 7-10 with Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels is gonna be the one where we're gonna be struggling.
We got Randy Orton versus Chris Jericho in the 11-6 matchup. We got Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels in the 7-10, which is crazy. And we got Bret Hart versus John Cena, two of the most polar opposite guys going at it in the first round. So this is why I wanted to do it this way, because I was just like, I didn't want to pick randomly out of a hat, because that would just be too unpredictable, right? Like if you had Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan in the first round, or The Rock versus Austin in the first round, like it was going to be difficult. Like it's going to be difficult regardless, but I felt like this was the best way to do it. And we ended up having a good bracket overall, looking at it here. But yeah, that's the bracket, man. That's the bracket. As tough as it's going to be.
Should be good.
I'm gonna try to save it. Yeah, I say we can save this for next week because I feel like there'll be more time a little bit, and we can do that and then do our backlash picks as well. But yeah, this is the greatest of all time bracket. I will probably I gotta do something. I gotta do something like PowerPoint or something like this. Make this a little bit more extravagant for the situation. But looking at this bracket is going to be crazy tough. Looking at it, I can't wait to talk about this, guys. But that will do it for this episode of the GOAT bracket. Making of the GOAT bracket. The final 6 have been entered, and it's going to be hell. It's going to be hell trying to figure out.
Except for one round.
No, we're gonna have a discussion in that one round, though.
I'm just saying. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting as Lewis continues his campaign against Hulk Hogan.
Get him out of here. Cancel culture.
I'm just gonna ask that. I'm just gonna ask that on on Facebook and stuff like that. Should Hulk Hogan be in the greatest of all time conversation?
Nope.
And Lewis,
them vitamins are on recall.
All America said no. They love their Hulk Hogan, the All American. All American like apple pie. They love Hulk Hogan. They're not gonna forget
American mask. That stupid shit.
The Mr. America.
Oh God.
I'm not okay, Lewis. I'll agree with you. That gimmick was terrible. The whole concept of what they were trying to do, that was ridiculous. But that wasn't his idea, though. That was I don't know whose idea it was. Even
legacy tarnished. The only thing he has is the NWO. That's all he has.
And I'm gonna use that against him. I'm gonna use that against him in the argument. So
yeah, because it basically destroyed WCW.
Not only that, but we'll talk about it. We'll definitely talk about it.
No, we'll talk about that. No.
Yeah, because I definitely want to save that because I feel like that was one of my arguments against Hulk Hogan, but we'll save it. But until next time, we'll be talking about the GOAT bracket as well as the Backlash preview picks as well. We'll talk about that heading into actual wrestling. But until next time, guys, thank you guys for joining me.
Peace.
All right.